Got to make sure I press the right button. All right. And we're live. Welcome to paraglidingtalk.com. I'm your host, Robert Michaels. Glad you are here. We have a very special episode tonight. We've got Maximilian with us tonight. Max Martini from Brazil is with us. We're going to have some awesome conversations about flying. If you don't know Max, he's an instructor in Brazil, an Acro pilot. He's been teaching and also flying tandems for a long time now. Has a great head on his shoulders for the sport. You're going to really enjoy this episode. This show is brought to you by Midwest Parajet. If you're interested in getting some gear and you're in the Midwest, reach out to midwestparajet.com. Get a hold of those guys. Between Steve and Scott, they'll take care of you. Their website again is midwestparajet.com. The show is also brought to you by PPG Smoke. PPG Smoke headsets. I want to just tell you, I got a headset. I know that there were some issues with some other ones. Mine are fine. They're amazing. Go check out the website, ppgsmoke.com. Also, want to mention paramotorprops.com. I'm representing them tonight. Go check out their website, paramotorprops.com. If you accidentally blow up a prop, you can get them super fast. It's actually amazing. It's a modern marvel. You can get your stuff squared away right away. Reach out to them again, paramotorprops.com. Really appreciate this other sponsor, San Diego local plumbing company, American Allied Drains and Plumbing. If you're in the San Diego area and you need plumbing, 10% discount if you mention Paragliding Talk. And just when you call, just say, hey, I need the homie hookup, and I'm friends with Paragliding Talk, and they will give you 10% and clear your drains or whatever you need. 844-777-9055. That's the phone number if you want to get hold of them. So appreciate you coming on the show tonight, Max. Thank you for taking the time. I know it's a little bit, we keep you awake a little late when you come on the show. So thank you for staying up late. The older I get, the earlier I like to go to bed. So I appreciate you taking the time to come on.
Thanks for inviting me, Rob.
Yeah.
Always been a pleasure coming to your show, man.
Yeah. If you don't know Max, he was actually the very first guy to come on the show. He was episode 1. So go back and check out that episode. We were having a great time. We weren't sure exactly what we were doing yet, but we figured it out eventually. So Max, if you would start from the beginning real quick. How did you get into paragliding? What was the draw, and talk about a little bit about your progression and where you're at today.
So I started flying at the age of 14 in Germany, in the region of Fürsten, where I got passionate about this sport, and since then I was hooked. And I found a place for myself a few years after starting flying. I found a place for myself where I could progress and take my time professionalizing myself, like always making videos about my training and about my progression, and always analyzing my videos and seeing what I was doing wrong and what I could do better. And like this, in a few years, I was able to get together a lot of information. And I also, when I was 19 or something like that, I graduated as a ski instructor. So I got a sense of how to teach, how to transmit this information, how to have methods of teaching, and that's when I put both together, like the methods of teaching and the knowledge I had in paragliding. And yeah, that's where I started my own school, and I was always different from the general community here in Brazil, and because I valued a lot the ground handling, and I always got this for myself that many of the situations that that we will go through in flight, we can practice on the ground and simulate it on the ground, especially when we are talking about muscle memory and reduced version of what can happen in the air, like without even taking your feet off the ground. And yeah, so I've been flying now for almost 14 years, and something that one mentality that I always took for myself always was, if I want to teach somebody something, I have to master it for myself. So I have no doubt about what I'm doing, and no doubt when the student asks me, so what happens when, and would be a shame if I couldn't answer, you know. So yeah, and I'm always also, I always dedicated myself a lot for aerobatics, and that's a big passion of my of mine. And yeah, so that's when I get in my bubble of me and my wing, nothing else. Everything disappears, and that's where I can express myself and where I can get this feeling of freedom. And yeah, so, and then I did some YouTube videos, and always like to inspire and always like to transmit information. And yeah, that's about it, man. So
What do you think about the next generation of pilots that are coming in?
what I think about them, or what I think.
Yeah, talk about what you're seeing compared to what it was like when you first started flying.
So like in every sport or every single thing in life, like the new generation has always an advantage of learning it faster. I don't know if it's uh, group consciousness that transmits information, or learning by simply watching, and I don't know what it is. I think it's a combination also of all of that, plus the technology of being able to watch the videos in no time, and being able to analyze what someone else did wrong. And they are in a big advantage, and also in the golden era of paragliding evolution. Um, our equipment has never been so performant and so fast and so safe, um, like never before. You know, that's incredible, and they have all in their hands. It's just a matter of interest and taking it and going ahead and flying high, flying fast. Yeah. So I see many young pilots like in 1 year learning to fly, and in 1 year doing infinite and doing a lot of maneuvers. Not that that means something. So you don't have, in 1 year you can't have enough experience to call yourself a good pilot, but uh, you have all this information to progress really quick. And yeah, that's incredible.
I remember my instructor, he mentioned something about paying attention to people's driving, and he said, you know a good driver by them not having accidents. You don't say that guy's a good driver um, because
By
he
being
can.
reckless. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So it's a good
exactly.
indication that you're a good pilot when you've um, you're in one piece
Yeah,
after years.
and that's what I was going to say also. I worry about the young pilots, because we have a community that has so much, so many outdated information, and so many misconceptions that has been carried on for generations and generations, that I'm worried that there will be a young gun that's going to become just another pilot, like, and not a great pilot. That's my worry. And I try to make a difference when I teach, of not doing the same as all my other fellow instructors. I try to invest more time and invest more dedication into my students, in a sense that the student will be more prepared. The student will have a better foundation where he's going to be able to progress safely and understand on his own how the maneuver works. Like, with a baggage of knowledge, he will be prepared of taking the next step with safety, right? And I guess that's also the topic that we're going to talk about in this episode of Paragliding Talk. How we will progress in Acro, how we will progress in flying in general, right? That's it, right?
Yeah, that's right. And I'm just watching your video, and you're
That's
crazy.
an insane video. He looked like it was about to fly right through his lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like walking on people's wings.
He'd probably fly well with Brad Geary, huh?
Yep.
This is my synchro partner, Kaoli, and he lives around 70 kilometers from here. He has 20 years of Acro, and he's a great person, great pilot, and I love flying with him. When we fly together, we have a lot of fun. So yeah, excuse me, I interrupted somebody.
No, that's awesome. We've got, so I want to talk to you about the, first, let's just talk about taking people into your training. When you bring someone in to train, whatever spectrum they're on, let's talk about first the transition that you made from being a pilot to now being an instructor. What are the things? What was the telltale sign that you said, I need to become an instructor?
So for me, I noticed a certain deficiency in the paragliding community. For example, when taking off, dude, if you put on YouTube takeoff fails, paragliding takeoff fails, there will be a ton. Piloting errors, people overreacting, and I always said, man, why these people are so bad in flying? And I always saw this deficiency, and I also was aware that I can't just say to an instructor here at my hometown, like, hey, you should teach like this. No, I can't do that. That would be like offensive in a way. And I said, if I see this deficiency, and I feel like I have to do something, so I have to take it on my own hand and do it on my own. So that was what motivated me to become an instructor. This need of teaching and helping people out, flying better, flying safer, and progressing. And I, I bro, I tell you, one of the best things is seeing someone smile after landing, after progressing, after having a great time. That's for an instructor, like, that's what pays, and the money is just consequence. And yeah, sometimes I don't even fly. I just by watching my students land with a smile from ear to ear is like as good as flying.
Your thoughts on the paragliding instructing community. Tell us a little bit about what you're seeing, and then who was your instructor?
Ah, so my instructor, I forgot his name, but unfortunately he passed away a few months back, and I was really sad to see. But he was a great guy, a German guy, and what inspired me the most about him is how methodical he was when preparing, for example, simple things, when preparing his glider. And I remember coming to the takeoff, and I had some experience already, and then I throw my glider like on the ground, like whatever, like almost in a rosette, but almost open. And he said, "You're not going to take off like this. Prepare your glider perfectly on this half moon shape." And that's what inspired me. Like, yeah, so if you gotta do something, you gotta do it perfectly. And yeah, and that's also something that I. So what was your second question again? Excuse me.
That's okay. No, you answered it. My main question is, what are you seeing in the instructor community?
In the community, yeah, and I was connecting, like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what my instructor did, and that's what I see also. I can't only tell what Brazilians do, so not what the whole world does, but
Right.
for us here, the instructors, they they don't give as much attention to the student as we wish. We see many paragliding schools focusing on many things. For example, they do tandem paragliding, they do ground handling, um, uh, flights, like instructed flights. They do many things. So we have a saying here in Brazil: if you do many things, you do nothing well.
Oh,
So and 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 that's what we are seeing right now. So many instructors do the job just as a job and not with passion and taking the human part seriously. We are all humans trying to realize a dream that's flying, and we have to take it as a special thing, for each person, and not do it only for the job, for the money.
if people come to you for training and they have some experience doing acro, um, are you training acro? Are you doing SID courses or something like that?
So our training is quite different. As you see on the video, we don't have much altitude. We have about 150, 400 at best, very rarely.
Meters.
And that's where most of the pilots end their runs. And that's where we start. So our ways of practicing is really different. We have a different mentality while going into acro. And that's what we teach mostly here. Yeah, so let me dive deeper into this topic. So I have many experienced pilots that do all the tricks like infinites and all the maneuvers, and they are used uh, to fly in high places that have at least 1,000 over water, and they feel really safe when doing their maneuvers. But when they arrive at my spot, their eyes grow big like this, and they say, "Oh, it's not possible to practice here." And I say, "Yes, it's possible. That's just a matter of your mentality." And when we go deeper, one of the steps is focusing 100% in what you're doing. I always say to my students or to the people that come train with me, I always say uh, you have modes, right? So when you're taking off, you gotta focus 100% in taking off, so you don't do any mistakes and compromise your safety. So don't worry about the landing right now. You're focusing on taking off, and after takeoff, you're focusing on navigating, on not colliding with other pilots, and gaining altitude, and not focusing on what happened at the takeoff. So you gotta switch modes when you do something. And in aerobatics, acrobatics, that's the same. So we will gain altitude, we will fly to the box. That's the imaginary space where we don't have any other pilots crossing, and the risk of colliding is low. And we have space to sort out a cravat or throw the reserve if necessary. So we will go to this box, and I will switch my mode and focus 100%. And the only thing that exists right now is just me and my glider, and everything else I forget about it, so that I'm 100% sure that when I'm doing the maneuver, I will execute it perfectly. And when I do mistakes, I'm with my head, I'm ahead of the game, and I will be able to sort the situation out. So that's one of the training mentalities that we have while practicing so low. Right? And many other techniques that we use to be efficient, to be safe, and to progress in a way that the information stays in your mind. And that's not just about luck or being brave.
What do you say to the people that argue that's too low to do acro?
Yeah, they are right. I completely agree. But we're flying within our limits, and we only do maneuvers that we are 100% sure. For example, I won't try a twisted infinite at
Do you
my
need
home
something, son?
spot. That's a maneuver that I recently learned, so I won't be trying it
I'm just
low.
pretending like I'm listening.
That's about the mentality.
Oh, that's nice. Sorry, my son came in and
He's big already.
Just
Oh man.
I know he's grown now. He's gonna be 18 now.
Whoa.
Wow.
I know.
He's eating fertilizer for breakfast.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's big now.
Yeah. I think he's taller than me, but I don't stand next to him. I don't want to find out.
I have a theory. Robert's dropping him Wheaties from his paraglider when he flies by. He's like, open up, son.
I took my son, who's just the next one down, on the tandem, and then when I was done, I said, "Taven, do you want to go on a tandem with me?" And he was like, "No."
But he'll go with Josh Bowden.
Yeah, he would go with Josh, but not me. Smart kid. So let's talk a little bit about that. I'm interested in getting my tandem certification, and I'm going to do it locally here with the guys at Torrey Pines. Max Marion has.
Yeah.
He's gonna do my certification. My thought, it comes from someone else who's a pilot, an instructor, and a very well-respected guy in the sport. He said that he thought it was a good idea to wait 5 years before you get your tandem certification, to be flying for 5 years. Talk a little bit about the transition from just flying, being a single pilot to.
I would say there are no set rules. I know people that start flying in a very short time.
Yes.
They focus only in tandem, and that's their passion. I respect that. And there are people that should focus more time flying solo to get this experience of going through the situations that you might get through one day, and to not be overwhelmed when flying tandem, you know. Uh, so for me, there are no secrets in flying tandem. Of course, if the rules imply that you should get your certification to fly tandem, do that. For sure, there's a reason for that, and that's always fun, you know. I here in Brazil, we only have a few rules for tandems. Like you will need a certification that you are aware of the airspace, and that's for flying in general. And you need to have the insurance, and that's it. And many people work with that, and they get their money doing this, and it works. But the thing that's actually like tricky is like handling, how would I say that, not handling the passenger, like um, instructing the passenger to fly with you and not to be just a bad weight that might get you in trouble by grabbing your reserve, or I don't know, sitting at the wrong timing and then you trip over the person, you know. So all those tricky things, it's nice to inform yourself beforehand. And yeah, tandem flying is such a blessing. It's the nicest way of getting somebody to feel the freedom of flying, like super quick. And yeah, it's always a pleasure, you know.
Do you ever have somebody throw up?
All the time.
Yeah.
They say like, oh, I want with adrenaline. Okay, then okay, let's go. And I pull really hard, and after like a few turns, the person is like, oh, not a good idea.
Yeah.
But as a profession, I always try to get this as a to get this flight as a nicest experience possible for the person. So the passenger decides what type of flying we are doing. So are we going very smooth, or let's do some Waga style, or some Acro high up. So the passenger decides, because in the end what matters is the experience he has and not what I'm feeling. Like sometimes it's boring for me, but it's always nice to have a happy client in the end, and someone that recommends you to others and say, oh, this person treated me well, he was kind, he did an awesome flight, we had an extremely beautiful experience together, and that's what matters, you know. And sometimes, so we sell the flight here for 350 reais. That's what's about that $70 or something like that. And for 15 minutes, the flight. And
Can I take over the
sometimes,
controls?
yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to tell you. That we fly like we show the scenery, okay, but also we give the sensation that the person is capable of flying on their own by simply pulling on a few strings, and you can navigate wherever you want, you know.
Oh my gosh,
And
I just had an idea, Max.
yeah,
I know too many people know who you are, but maybe we could try to dress you up when you come. And you can go on a tandem and ask for permission to fly.
As
And
a
maybe,
passenger.
yeah, as the passenger. and then take them for a ride. Don't give them the controls.
Take him for a ride.
That would be funny.
We need to put that on video.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
like
great.
And then go into an infinite or something.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know,
Oh, God.
I don't know if you can do
300
it, but
feet above Tory.
it would have to be at Torrey Pines, and we'd have to pay for him, and maybe we can dress him like an old man or
It
something.
would probably work, but I think you just let the cat out of the bag. So you
Right
know.
away.
Yeah, we will get in trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
That would be so funny.
Just give him a very nice fake mustache, and he
Yeah.
can roll with it.
Yeah.
Nice sunglasses, a nice thick mustache. Nobody would know it's him.
Yeah. Let's give something away. You ready to spin the wheel?
Yes.
All
I've
right.
got everybody's name in there. No more names. All right. I know they're on a second delay. So anybody after Tory Pope,
Hey,
no more
Will
names.
Fly. Will Fly donated $5 to the super chat. He said Resurgence PBG rocks.
Heck yeah.
Thanks for your contribution, Will Fly. Appreciate that.
Hang
Tonight
on a
we're going to give
second.
away one of these Booms retractable keychain deals. This will save you from losing your phone when you're flying. So you attach
Phone
your
tether.
Yeah, phone tether. You tie this to your gear and then this to your phone, and then
I need you to allow participant sharing, Robert.
Oh, it's the small things. Let me see here.
Yeah. It's all right, man.
There you go.
You were very excited to show us the phone tether, and
Very
yeah.
nice phone tether.
nice and silent too. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so you see the screen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All
So, my neighbor Paul is the one that gave those to the show. Very kind person. He lives right down the street. He's a trike pilot. Super cool guy. Actually, he's been supporting the show for a long time. Go ahead and spin the wheel.
It's
By the
already spinning.
way, the spin of this wheel is brought to you by Nebraska PPG. Josh Broden runs the school in Nebraska. If you're interested in getting top-notch training, you can sign up with Josh and his team today. There's a link in the description. Also, this show is brought to you by iFly Indiana Powered Paragliding. If you're interested in getting paramotor training, no better place to get proper training than iflyindiana.com. And Kevin and his team will get your feet off the ground. Also, Sean runs Calamity Kite Clinic. The website is calamityKiteClinic.com. Oh, it was so close to Nick Vasakis.
Pretty
I
close.
think it's
Yeah.
passed him up.
Yeah. that's
John Carilli.
good.
Oh, it might be on the line. It's still
It's
going.
an oiled wheel. Yeah.
Oh, John Carilli. John Carilli.
Congratulations,
Yeah,
John.
congratulations,
for
John.
winning your new phone tether.
Reach out to me, John, on the website, paraglidingtalk.com and /contact. So make that, send that to me so I can get your address and I'll send you over your winnings. Hot Buttered Steve Productions donated $10 to the super chat. He said, someone pulled a knife on me tonight, but I could tell he wasn't a professional. The knife still had butter on it. Well played. Yep. Sean Wyman said, don't use that on your phone. Watch my video of what happens. Uh-oh. I
Where's your sound bar?
already gave a couple away. Yeah.
Sounds like
Already gave a
something
couple
went through the
away.
prop. It sounds like something went through the prop.
Yeah, they're really short, though. They're really short. Yeah, just don't let it go. Let it go.
Well, that's the thing, you always test fit your stuff. Make sure, have your stuff on, give it a stretch, see how far it can go. So that way you kind of have an idea of, okay, maybe I should shorten this a little bit if I have to, or make adjustments, put it somewhere else in a different spot as need fit,
As needed.
Yeah.
So, if one of you guys can find the video, or if Shane, if you can just share it.
Put Ripa to work. He's got
Yeah,
nothing to do.
Rip is the master of balance. Because you never really know what he's doing back there. But he's running the machine.
He's a very good juggler.
Look at these guys.
Oh,
So I want to talk a little bit about some of your experiences. And one of those, you flew in Iquique, and it's just
Yeah.
if you guys don't know, it's a giant dune, and it just looks amazing. It looks like such a fun giant playground. You went with a group of people that all of them seem to be masters of the sport. Talk about that trip. Tell us a little bit about your close calls, takeaways, and things that you learned on that trip.
So we organized this trip to Iquique 2 times already, and that was kind of advanced training for ground control and advanced piloting. And we did fly in Autospicio and Palubuque. Autospicio is a thermic place. You take off at around 500 meters, I think, and you can get many rounds in, like fly. You can practice pretty good. Uh, and Palubuque is more a ground handling place where you can do wagas really close to the ground, freestyle, and you can get um, more ground handling um, skills by just inflating your glider, because the wind isn't as constant as you think it is, and it's always changing, and sometimes strong gusts go through. And yeah, so we did some lessons of how to kite up the dune, how to get the wing on the side of the window and stuff like that. So it is just incredible. It's magic. I would recommend you go there at around November, and don't expect to fly right away. Sometimes the weather is tricky, but all paragliders know you can't have high expectations. Although the weather is so particular over there, it almost never rains, and you have almost every single day of the year
Oh,
flying.
was that you?
So over there we were practicing stall points, so
Wow.
getting to the limit of your brake force and feeling how the brake pressure increases, and suddenly it decreases, and that's where we arrive at the stall point, and how to react also. So yeah,
Fly
we had a
baby
great
fly.
time.
Donated $20 to the super chat. Thank you. Appreciate that contribution. These guys are pretty high up right here.
Yeah, so Palubuque, you can fly up to 800 meters, and it's pretty incredible actually.
And then you could go over the water if you really wanted to.
No, it's not possible,
No?
unfortunately. No, due to airspace.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I was telling you in the pre-show that I got a chance to fly at they call it Sand City.
And city.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. You
Yeah.
learn a lot you wouldn't normally be able to learn just flying your regular sight. So I was very grateful that I got to fly there. Was there any situations that you were things that you learned that you can give some advice to everyone?
On this trip or in general?
Yeah, on this trip.
What I learned.
He's done learning. He's got it. He has it all.
No.
Come on.
No, it's not like that. You always learn, but it's difficult. Sometimes it's difficult to get in work, because sometimes you learn something that's so specific to your personality that you can't just say, "Oh, I learned to be patient," and okay, so I will go to Iquique and learn to be patient. No, it's not like that. So yeah, in this case, I learned to be patient actually, and
Look at the
yeah,
clouds. Man, that's
yeah.
crazy. The marine layer.
That's
Sometimes the
awesome.
conditions weren't just perfect, and if you wanted to fly, you would have to walk up this all the sand dunes, and every step you take, you get like set back just a bit, and it takes a lot of energy going up this sand dune, and yeah, and sometimes it's just better to wait and be patient for better conditions, you know. Yeah,
That's windy.
Why hike up when you can fly up, right?
yeah, exactly. Conservation of energy. Yeah, so the trash flies up the dune.
Yeah, that's how windy it is. Oh wow, yeah, you're pretty high right there.
Yeah, and yeah, and you can see it's really difficult to judge the altitude
Oh yeah.
because everything is so homogeneous, and there are no structures that you can really say, oh, I'm pretty high or I'm low. So we had some incidents where people thought they were really high and they were doing maneuvers, and suddenly the ground was really close and they hit the ground and broke their backs, legs, and yeah, all that stuff.
Really?
I noticed that one time when we flew a lake, Robert, behind El Cap, that reservoir there, San Vicente,
Yeah.
and it was an early morning, and the water was just glassy, and without any ripples, it was really difficult to tell any kind of depth perception, and can tell how high you were above the water. So if you wanted to do a foot drag or a tip wing drag or something, it was really challenging. You couldn't see it. You just see reflection of the mountains that are above, you know?
Yeah, it's tricky.
That looks like a lot
Better,
of fun, Max.
it was fun.
My
I was I was working though, so not as much fun. I wish I would have more time, but yeah, got to
have
fly a
you
lot though.
have you been able to
So
fly a motor yet?
yeah, I've flown trikes, I've flown motors, but that's not my. We say here in Brazil, that's not my beat.
Yeah, that's not your beach. Nice.
Yeah,
Where did you end up flying motors at?
yeah, here at the beach, like I took it for a spin and then landed immediately. It's not my thing, you know.
One of the guys there let you fly their gear?
Yeah, yeah. We have
Nice.
an instructor that does paramotor only, and
Does he have gear
he
that
has
he'll
gear.
rent? Like so,
Yeah,
because
he has gear, but I don't trust it as much. It looks like a lot of
it's
uh,
old.
cable ties
Oh
that
yeah,
are in places that shouldn't be, and
yeah,
stuff like that.
that's
So I
funny.
don't trust it as
Um, talk a little bit about. I know you had a close call over the snow, and we talked about that at length. You can go back to watch that episode. I think that was the last time that he was on.
much. Yeah.
Um, but talk a little bit about some times that you had close calls. What did you learn from those? How did it change the way that you fly? There's a mental toughness that we develop over the years, and I can only say it now that I feel like we call it bump tolerance. But
Yeah.
it's also something I feel like there's a certain amount of skill and maybe heart that you have to excel. Talk a little bit about some scenario that changed your
So
perspective.
you will never get into a scenario because of one thing only. That's always I think I already talked about this. That's always a chain of things that happen that lead to this incident. And the first time I threw my reserve parachute was a combination of a few things. So right now we're in a thunderstorm.
Oh wow.
Uh, I would um, warn you guys maybe that the
internet.
power will go out
Yeah.
and we will lose connection. Might happen. Okay, so
Okay.
don't wonder. So I will talk a bit faster. I will try to talk a bit faster. So
No, you're good.
this situation happened where I was training low. I was recently learning infinity tumbles, and I didn't manage to do the stalled exit yet. So I was focusing on that. So what happened is you take energy, you tumble and go into infinite, and then there's a right timing where you need to brake to exit this maneuver with safety. And so what happened was there were many people flying around me, and as I said earlier, we have an imaginary box where we try to do our maneuvers where we avoid flying close to other people, and people were crossing this box all over, and that got me um, anxious and nervous and angry, right? So I was in the wrong state of mind. So if you wanna do something, you have to be calm, cool, focused, and you don't. It's wrong to let your emotions take over of what you're doing. You have to be completely rational. And what happened was I was angry. I was practicing something new, low. I shouldn't do this at the spot. And what happened was I did a mistake. And this mistake led to a big cravat. And suddenly I saw my glider like a small package over my head. And I looked down to check the altitude, and I was falling really fast, and I decided to throw my reserve parachute. So as you
Ooh.
can see, there was a sequence of things that happened that led to this accident. So yeah, the mentality is always, as I said earlier, focus 100% on what you're doing. If it's not the right time to do it, don't do it. If it's not the right place to do it, don't do it. And if you mess up right at the beginning, we say also here when we practice in low, if you mess up at the beginning, go out, stabilize the flight, get your mind together and try it again. Get the most altitude and then try it again. So that was one situation I went through. The other situation you can see at the other live stream we did. And yeah, there are many lessons to be learned out of those situations for sure.
Yeah,
That's
he's
good
got
advice.
plenty of videos.
That's good advice, Max. You got to be in the right frame of mind. Otherwise, there's always a
Yeah.
sequence of events that leads
And-
up to.
And that's funny how it applies to everything in your life, and not only paragliding or acrobatics. The same applies to driving a car or
Yeah.
flying cross country or flying a paramotor. As soon as you get complacent with something, and
Distractions.
yeah, it will happen. It will happen. So
Yeah. By the way, if you want to follow Max, if you've not seen his videos before, I'd be surprised. But I put a link in the description if you want to follow him. Also, he has a great school there in Brazil. Reach out to him through. You can reach out to him through the website, or he's also on Instagram. What's the best way people can get a hold of you?
you can contact me through Facebook at Flying Style. It's written like this, or
Nice.
yeah, Instagram flying.style, and and we have also a Google page. I don't have a website anymore, but yeah, we do advanced piloting courses, advanced ground handling courses. We fly instructional tandem, so where we take you in a flight where we go through a few exercises that are crucial for your progression in every type of flying. I would say in active flying, like how to stabilize pitch, how to stabilize roll, how to exit a strong spiral without the pendulum, without having to catch this big shoot. So we do all that stuff here in Brazil, and we are very fortunate to live on Florianopolis, an amazing place, an amazing island where we have 13 different types of flying, uh, thermals, cross country. We have coastal soaring. We have 3 types of dunes that we can play and progress a lot in a short time. Yeah.
What's the best
So-
time of year to come to your
So the
island?
best time is between December and April, I would say.
Okay, so like prime time right now.
Yeah.
Let's go, Gringo.
Let's go. Book me.
I'm in.
After seeing that beach he was flying, that was pretty nice, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to stay. We'll Airbnb one right there on the beach, and then we'll just walk right out there.
So I heard people comparing Florianopolis a bit to Hawaii in a sense, because we have surf, we have so much nature around, and it's really beautiful for sure.
Yeah.
Not like Hawaii. I would say Hawaii is another level, but Florianopolis is really good. Not many people know about it.
Yeah. It's a little gem. I do want to mention a couple sponsors real quick. Lone Star Paramotor. LoneStarParamotor.com is the website. If you're in the Lone Star State of Texas, you can reach out to Ron Turan and his team for world-class training. That's LoneStarParamotor.com. Also, the show is brought to you by Torrey Pines Glider Port. If you want to learn how to free fly in the most beautiful place in the United States, you can reach out to the guys at flytorrey.com. That's FLYTORREY.com. Pretty amazing place to fly. And if you're somewhere like Brazil, you should come to San Diego. It's amazing. Craig Taylor, you want to mention Resurgence PPG?
I'd be honored to give a word to those guys. They are a 501c3 nonprofit for veterans by veterans. If you can do anything to support those guys, please, they dearly appreciate it. The things they're doing are just amazing. You've got to see it for yourself. Check them out. Smile.amazon.com will give back for you if you can't. Otherwise, you can donate direct at resurgenceppg.com.
Yeah,
Fly safe. Check your NOTAMs. And save your LZs.
Yeah. Be kind.
They're becoming extinct.
Yeah. It's crazy. Also, if I could just mention, the Resurgence PPG does more than just teach guys how to fly. It literally saves lives and changes lives. So yeah, when you contribute, it's more than just some people going out and flying. It's way deeper. It's a family.
Yeah, it's not just our veterans either. The outreach goes to the family and kids and friends and everybody that's involved in any one of their lives.
I didn't even think about that. That's true. Yep. Reaches it's got some webs, some tentacles. Yeah. Thank you, Craig, for that. Also want to just mention thank you to all the people that have been supporting the show on Patreon and PayPal. Just you make the show, you make it happen. So thank you for contributing. Thank you for being a part of it for so long. We're episode 205 tonight. Can you believe that? So
205 episodes.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Max was on the first one.
Yeah.
That's
he was.
right.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is
die.
insane when you think about it.
Yeah.
Been a long time.
Yeah.
You know, Max, you said you like to inspire others. You've been an inspiration ever since I started the sport 5 years ago. So I want to just
And
thank
you
you.
inspire us, man, for
I
sure.
want to thank you for the great videos you put out and your all your lessons and the way you conduct yourself and the way you take life. You grab them by the, you know what? You grab them by the horns. You grab life by the horns.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching the first video. He was up pretty high. This must have been a 4-year-old video, and he was just talking about the things that he was teaching in doing instruction. So I remember the very first time I was actually searching for things that I could not kill myself.
I loved
by
all
accident.
that wagga stuff on the beach. Where's that beach with the electric wires right at the top of the dune?
Yeah, it's called Ingleses.
That place is nuts.
And we tried already to get this wire underground, but it's difficult here in Brazil, man.
Sure.
Really? So what?
Hey, Robert, remember, actually, you started this show because of an incident you had once.
Yep,
Remember?
that's right.
We wanted to talk about it. We never got to, actually. We should do like a analysis about this.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go to. I'll put the GoPro on and go do it again. Yeah, that's true. This show was literally birthed from a mistake.
Yeah.
One that we're able to talk about. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yep. Not everyone gets to walk away and have a good attitude. That's for sure.
Having an attitude of showing it to others and making people grow and getting people together to talk and grow together. That's amazing, Robert. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. I just think back of guys that were in the sport in the beginning that they get hurt, they get humbled, and then some of them don't even fly anymore. It's like, oh man, it's a bummer. And I think the main reason was I knew that there was more people out there like me who were maybe they weren't interested in what was happening in their lives right then. And so you can, anyways. Yeah, man. So I'm excited about the future. We have some great things lined up. The future of our sport is I see good things, and every single person I talk to, there's good vibes. When I first came into the sport, it wasn't always like that. It seemed like there was some instructors that were they don't want to teach too much. If you didn't give them money, they weren't going to give you the goods. Thank you, son. I see a difference now. There's a new energy of people being excited that no matter what, they're willing to teach someone. When we're flying at Blossom and a new guy shows up, it seems like everyone is reaching out to them and fearfully explaining and teaching and I'm not saying that has anything to do with this, but I'm hopeful for the future of the sport because what I'm seeing. Someone in the chat asked, where in Brazil is this?
My place it's called Florianópolis. It's in the far southeast coast. Yeah. And
Far south.
Yeah, it's an amazing island.
Okay, so if you want to reach out to Max, so thank you, Max. I really appreciate you coming on, man. It's tons and tons of information. If you want to follow him, there's a link in the description. Go check out his website. You're gonna send me a link to get the T-shirt. I want to get one.
Yeah, I will send
I'll get
right
a couple.
now in the chat.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
I don't know
just
if
do
you
it on
guys
Instagram.
in the US will be able to buy it. I don't know.
Awesome.
If I can send it in the chat.
We're going to go to the after show. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone who's been a supporter of the show, you guys are awesome. Everybody in the chat, you guys are absolutely amazing. I'm super stoked about next week's episode. Don't miss it. Paraglidingtalk.com is the website. Thanks for watching. If I don't see you on the air, I'll see you in the air. Have a great night. Hey, thanks
Matt.
Also all the moderators. Thank you, Ripman, Thank you, Gringo, Sean Nafsker, Craig Taylor. You guys are awesome. Keep this thing running like a well-oiled machine. And